Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine, it's your dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham, episode number 624. Okay, so today we're talking about what happens if you sell your company or you merge with another company and they take over the interweb stuff, the website stuff, or the web stuff. We're going to talk about what that really means. We're going to talk about doing it right and securely, and we're going to talk a bit about streamlining it as well. There's going to be a lot here that I miss as well because each situation is slightly different, but I want to try and give you a broad enough approach that you think about these sorts of things. So what happens? You've sold your company, maybe it's merging with another. Well, congratulations, first of all, I guess. I hope it's correct. Congratulations. But here comes the part that everyone forgets about until the last minute, and sometimes even after the last minute, and it doesn't really hit until a domain name expires or an account expires and needs renewing, and they're like, well, where did this come from? So we're talking about the behind the scene digital assets, your website, your domain name, your hosting, your email accounts, your marketing accounts, the invisible glue that holds your online presence together. Handing that over safely and properly can make the difference between a smooth transition and a total technical headache. So let me try and break that down a bit. What does the website stuff or the interweb stuff really mean? The web stuff really mean? Well, when you sell or merge, you're not just transferring your name, you're not just transferring the customers, you're transferring an entire online identity for your business. That generally includes, and I'm going to use generally here because it, like I said, every organization is slightly different. Every merger, every sale is slightly different. Your domain name, your hosting account, business emails, website CMS logins, analytics, social media, your CRMs, your newsletters. Think of that as your company's online DNA. Why does it matter as much as the legal docs? I kind of alluded to it earlier. During a sale, people get so focused on contracts and bank transfers and customer transfers that they forget that if you lose access to your website or your domain, you may lose your digital storefront, you may lose access to your customers, contact to your customers. Whoever controls your hosting and domain effectively controls your online business. Before you hand anything over, you need to double check who actually owns what. Sometimes an employee or a contractor registered the domain name in their name. I know it shouldn't happen. It does happen though. Or maybe your personal Gmail account is tied to your Google Analytics account or the login to your email marketing. It says log in with Google and you've used your personal Gmail account to do it. You need to sort this out earlier as it prevents chaos later. So I'll come back to it. I'm going to try not to jump ahead on this one. Not all accounts are created equal either. Some people will have billing access, some will have content access, and others will have admin rights. Before the merger, it's really the sale, the merger. It's really important to map out exactly who has which permissions. Then you can decide what to transfer, what to revoke, and what needs securing. This is where I was going to get to. You need to do an audit. As part of your process of the sales of your business, the sale or the merger of your business, do an audit. Get an inventory of all of your digital assets. Get all your domain names, where they're registered, who the registrant is, what email address is listed for the registrant, who the hosting providers are, who has logins, what are the logins for it, where is your DNS, where is your domain name actually registered, where are your domain names actually registered? What are the login details for them? Where is the DNS records actually maintained? Are they maintained on your hosting provider? Do you have a DNS manager account with your DNS provider? Sorry, domain name provider. Are you using Cloudflare? What are your logins for that? What are the other tools you use? And things off the top of my head that I can think of is your CRM, your emails, so Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Soho, Mail, whoever else you get mail through, your CRM, emails, your marketing tool, your email marketing. Are you with MailChimp? Are you with MailerLite? Are you with Zoho campaigns? If you've got a form on your site that collects emails, where do those email addresses go? How do you log into it? Who has access to it? Keep everything in a secure document or password manager. That way, when it's time to hand things over, you're not digging through old emails of 2017 and you've probably remembered everything, or you've remembered most things. I'm probably going to say there's things you've forgotten because you just don't realize they're there until you don't have them anymore. They've been there for so long. They're just part of the furniture that you don't notice anymore. But do an audit. Make sure you've got that list of things and the list of accesses and who has access and who doesn't. So you know not only what you've got to hand over and how to hand it over, but you also know what access you need to revoke. Because some employees may not be going. Maybe the employees are not being part of the transfer and you need to take them off of the access lists. So what do you do when you're transferring it? There's a couple of things that we'll need to talk about here. I'm not going to get them all. I'm really not going to get them all. I know I am sorry for that. But hopefully this will give you an idea. Transferring your domain names. The domain name is often the crown jewel. Okay, if someone's buying your business, they're probably buying the domain name because it's part of the brand. You'll either need to unlock it, and to do that, you need to get an authorization code and transfer it to the new owner's registrar account. Maybe, or you can just leave it with that registrar's account and then go in and change the contact details on it. Now, to change the registrant, it will depend. The registrant is the person who actually owns the domain, who has registered the domain or has the registration of the domain. To change the registrant varies depending on which registrar you're with and what type of domain name it is, i.e. within Australia, to do a .com.au registrant changeover, there is a form you need to complete. You need to go to their website. You'll need to fill in this form. You'll need to give certain legal documentation to say that you are actually authorized to take this domain over, and then they'll go through the process of changing the registrant. Don't fall into the habit or the trap of thinking, we'll do that later. It's too hard. We'll do that later. Later tends to be when you need to renew the domain name and you don't have access to the account, or something goes wrong and you need to prove that you own the account, but it's still the domain name, but it's still in the old registrant's account. So don't fall into the trap of thinking we can do that later. That one is one that I would recommend you do as part of your handover. Give access to the hosting admin panel. Don't just hand over the login and call it a day. You might want to create a new user account for the new team. You might want to transfer site files. Honestly, what I would do, because if it's cPanel or most hosting providers, you've only got one login. You can only give an access to one login. You give that handover in a password manager, secure handoff in a password manager. The new owners need to go in and change the password. Once they've confirmed that they've got access, they need to change the password so that your access is removed. If you're stepping out, your access needs to be removed. Email accounts. Now, this can get messy because you'll need to decide which email domain survives, if they've got their own email domain, if they've got their own email providers. You might be on Microsoft 365. They might be using Google Workspace. This is where a lot of work can come in that you hadn't thought about. If you are handing over the domain name and they want to use Google Workspace, for example, and you're using Microsoft 365, they may want to take the messages that are in your Microsoft 365 account and put them into someone else's Google Workspace account. They may create you an account on their Google Workspace account and you'll want to transfer your email over. It's not difficult to do. It's not difficult for someone like me to do. It does take a little bit of time. It takes a bit of thought on how to do it, and you've got to make sure you do it properly. And then once you've handed everything over, maybe you're just going to hand over the Microsoft 365 account to them. Create an admin account on your Microsoft 365 account. Log in. Yeah. Create an admin user on your Microsoft 365 account. I'm trying to get the words right there. That's their admin login. Once they've taken it over, once they're happy with it, they can remove your admin login. You can be taken out of the picture. You've really got to think about how you're going to map those email accounts. So if I have Charly at Ask Charly Leetham and I sell Ask Charly Leetham, not that I'm going to, but if I sell it and someone says, well, we're not going to have a Charly at Ask Charly Leetham anymore, what are you going to do to mail that come into that account? People know that email account. For example, they do email it. What are you going to do with email? Are you just going to have it bounce? Are you going to set it up as an alias on someone else's mailbox for a while until that stops coming in on that account? How are you going to handle that? You really, really need to think about it. Think managing your shared tools. So access to your websites, your MailChimp, Zoho campaigns, Slack, what else? Oh, your CRM. Again, going through your audit list, find out what you've got. See if you can create new admin accounts on those tools. Give them access via those new admin accounts and they can remove yours once they're happy it's done, once they're happy that they've got full access. Otherwise, if you can't do that, share the username and password in a password manager. When they get in, they can change the password and remove your access. I would document everything. I would have a little mini project set up for this. I would have it set up so that I can say, I've sent this email, I've asked for this has been sent, this has been confirmed, so that you can tick it off, and it should avoid confusion later if something breaks or something goes amiss. You can actually go through the steps and say, oh, we forgot to do this bit. That's easy. We can fix that up. Okay. There's a heap of stuff here. Oh, the last thing I think I should mention, I'm just sort of reviewing my notes here, and I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty stuff. There's a couple of things here, and there's security is the big one. I've spoken about changing passwords. Like if you're going to share an account with someone, they go in and change the password. Make sure that multi-factor authentication is also updated, because you don't want them to change the password and then work out that you've got the multi-factor authentication on your phone. You're going to have to disable it. They're going to have to re-enable it on their phone. If you've got pass keys enabled, they're going to have to revoke your pass keys. As a general rule, all passwords should be changed. If you're going to transfer this stuff and you're going to do this sort of stuff, all passwords should be changed and updated in password managers, so you don't have the issue of a security breach of a old contract. Might have access, not realize you've sold the business, come in to help you do something, and then go, oh, that's no longer you, and they've got access to the new system. It happens occasionally. Okay, so selling or merging a company, it's exciting. It's also very stressful. I know that. The digital handoff can make or break your transition. Your online assets are like the keys to the kingdom, and giving them away without a plan is just asking for trouble. In fact, you may not be handing them over. You might have forgotten that they exist. So take the time to document, transfer, secure everything properly. So that's from my side as the seller, your side as the buyer or the person who's merging with me. Make sure that you are doing your bit as well. When it comes to the interweb stuff or the web stuff, doing it right once saves you cleaning up a digital mess later. It's a big one. I've done it a couple of times with clients. In fact, I normally get called in after the fact where the sale went down or someone stepped out, a manager stepped out, and we don't have access to that account anymore, and we've had to go in and not brute force it, but we've had to go through a lot of red tape to be able to get access to certain things that they should have had access to begin with, because they didn't think about it. I'm also going to say, in most people's defenses, they wouldn't have thought about it. They wouldn't have realized that that was a key because they just don't work at that level. So you might want to bring someone like me in, a consultant like me, to actually run that process for you, to do that audit, to get all the information we can out. You might want to do that just to save yourself stress later on. Not yourself, certainly the new owner, the new mergee, whatever. All right. Have I asked more questions here than I've answered? I always like to ask that question. Is there something I've said that's actually brought up more things for you? Is there something I've said that you disagree with that maybe I haven't thought about more clearly? Let me know. I'd love to know. Come across to my locals community to do that. askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You can join the conversation there. Otherwise, you can leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. I will get to them eventually. If this has been helpful, please give it a like. I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't done so already, maybe consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. These come out every other day. So guys, I will see you the day after tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.